Good evening. I'd like to call the February 2024 Planning Commission meeting to order.
Dana Camp,
Here.
Nanette Reese,
Here.
Robin Bridges,
Here.
Warren McCord,
Here.
Bob Reichenbach,
Here.
Wendy Birmingham,
Here.
David Wisdom,
Here.
Joseph Astrup,
Here.
Phil Chancellor.
Here.
Thank you so much. Before we start, I'd like to give a brief overview of the process for the public meeting for our Planning Commission. The commission will be presented with agendas, items by the Planning Commission staff, the city staff. Representatives for the agenda item will have the opportunity to make comments and answer specific questions from the commission. There will be a public hearing as appropriate for each item if it's required. And this will be your opportunity to address the commission of any concerns you may have about that particular agenda item. We want everyone to be heard, but we do ask that you please keep your comments to 5 minutes. After everyone has spoken, the public hearing will be closed. Representatives and staff will have the opportunity to answer any additional questions and respond to any issues brought up by the public. We will open the floor for commissioners for motions, discussions, and a vote, and the commission will vote based on state and local laws, the Comprehensive Plan 2030, and the general good of the community. The roles and responsibilities related to the approval of subdivision plats is mandated by the Alabama statute and municipal planning commission, such as ours. And it is the final approval authority for subdivision plats. We will let you know of anything that is moving forward and being recommended to the city council and that date. All right. Now, if anyone is here tonight who does not wish to speak on an agenda item but has a citizen's communication, I'd like to open that at this time. Seeing no one, we'll close that. We do not have any old business this evening, but we do have a consent agenda. Consent agenda has 3 items this evening, including the approval of our packet and regular meeting minutes in January, a new lift station for the city of Auburn, an annexation for the Barrett property, and a final plat for the Talmadge subdivision.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you. We'll move to new business.
All right, this request is for the annexation of 92 acres into Auburn city limits. The property is located on the west side of Lee Road 9, just of Biltmore Lane and just south of Beehive Road. The property is located close to a lot of properties that have been annexed over the years. To the northeast, the West Tech Park and the West Tech Park Annex. And more recently, in April of 2023, the annexation of the McAllister property, Weeks property, and the Beehive property. The most recent annexation request just last month on January 11th was made for the Lowry property directly across the street there in the yellow. And that property is still pending city council approval on the February 20th meeting. The subject property is located within the city's optimal boundary and meets all eligibility requirements for annexation. So with that being said, staff is recommending approval of this request.
Okay. It is my understanding that this annexation does not require a public hearing. So, commissioners,
I move for approval of the recommend city council annexation of the Biltmore Commerce Park.
second. I have a motion and a second. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, and also I appreciate the developer bringing that into the city.
on here. There's not an opportunity to take some comment.
Annexations do not require a public hearing.
Yeah,
The
rezoning.
next agenda item is on the same property. If you wish to speak, there is a public hearing.
This next request is for the rezoning of the same 92 acres that was just presented for annexation from the rural zoning district to the industrial zoning district. The area and the surrounding area from the subject property has seen a transition to more industrial and light industrial uses over the years, including all of the properties that were annexed and subsequently rezoned over the years that I previously mentioned before. West Tech Park, the annex, McAllister's property, the Beehive property, the Weeks property, and most recently pending council approval on February 20th, the Lowry property across the street. Staff is recommending approval of this rezoning request as well. However, we did receive one piece of correspondence from an adjoining property owner. I'm going to hand it over to Justice to go over more of the details of that correspondence.
Yes. So we did receive an email, just kind of about the about a property owner's concerns about their rezone. And I guess I want to ask. I mean, are you Mr. Sullivan who sent the email, or not Mr. Sullivan? All right. So okay. So we did receive an email from Mr. Sullivan, joining property owner, about general concerns, just kind of related to the environment and a whole litany of things. A lot of them were not just kind of germane to the rezoning request, and a lot of them will be addressed at a later date when there's actual construction on the site. And I sent an email just kind of relaying that information to Mr. Sullivan about his request. And so his concerns have been passed on to the staff who will address them. Like I said, a lot of his concerns are not germane to the rezoning request.
Okay. Okay, so we are going from rural to industrial. Okay, thank you. This does require a public hearing, so I'd like to open the public hearing now. Anyone wishes to speak, please come forward. Do you need to tell them to sign yes? Please do not forget to sign in afterwards. Please don't forget to sign in afterwards.
Sign-in sheet right there for the record.
Okay, I'll do it
Thank you.
afterwards. My name is Tom Toll. If you look up there, you can see the rectangle in black on the east side of it. You can see white, not in the city limits. That's where I live,
Off Cotton
Can
Valley?
you state your address, please,
Cotton
sir?
Valley.
Can you state your,
945 Lee Road 8. Okay. I'm not here to argue against changing. I'm going to call it the Biltmore Commerce Park. Is that what y'all call it?
That's what they're
Okay.
asking.
From rural to industrial. I am here to help assure that our neighborhood, all down Lee Road 8 there are 16 homes, and we're all concerned about how close the change to from rural to industrial is. I'm personally very close, as you can see there. There's approximately 200 acres of residential community where I am. With those 16 homes, 16 families will be subjected to a new environment here. Hopefully you can see why our community here is shaken by the possibility of industrial development at our doorstep. We have fears of consistent factory noises, random lights, air pollution, truck engines, instead of hearing the usual just crickets at night. We're also afraid that industrialization at our doorstep will have a negative financial impact on the value of our homes. A lot of our residents have borrowed money, as I'm sure you have, to buy a home at a fixed interest rate, and you got to pay the principal back. But if we're going to get some negative impact from industrialization here, switching to industrial, that'll reduce its value, that's going to be an out-of-pocket loss that's going to hurt a lot of families. So I'm concerned about the effects of changing from rural to industrial on our community. As I said before, I'm not arguing against change from rural to industrial, but I'm asking you now to leave a sufficient buffer area between the property where I live and the community where I live and the actual construction. So I guess what I'm asking, looking up there on the east side, leave some buffer room in there so that the trees that are there, et cetera, will kind of keep the noise down. That's the biggest thing I'm asking here. I was out there on Biltmore Lane, looking across this development from right to left, as you see up there. And all the trees that used to be forested, they're all gone except for way back, looking way back. I'm asking you to maybe stop there. Don't go further back. And leave that distance from that tree line to the property line, which is basically mine up there, that goes up and down for the whole property there. Leave that as a buffer area. I also noticed that there was, losing my words here. We'll just leave it at that. If I looked back, I saw the trees way in the background. If you could stop there and just make that remaining rural somewhere in there, and then industrial going closer to the main road there. And that would help us, okay? Another thing I noticed when I was walking from my property back into what I'm hoping will become a buffer area is there's a lot of wet weather creeks back in there. And I also noticed that someone has come in there and flagged some of the trees right on the creeks. I mean, they meander everywhere. They red tape some of the trees. And I'm thinking it's because the area on my side of the property there, your area to be included on that west side, excuse me, is pretty moist and pretty wet and might not even be good for constructing, but it'd make a perfect buffer area. So the request would be, I know what I was gonna say before, there's a silt line, maybe some of you have seen it, maybe from that point going towards the property, Lee Road 8 properties, or at least from where they stopped clearing the tall trees. If you go out there and look, you can see where they stopped clearing the tall trees. Just please consider leaving that for a buffer area so that we don't have the negative impacts of construction.
Thank you. Please sign in. Anyone else who'd like to speak in the public hearing tonight on this item?
My name is Richard Himmer. I'm one of the 16 property owners. We moved out there 20 years ago into a very rural area. Very happy to have that. It was one of the reasons why we chose that site, was to have some property. We've watched the development of Auburn come out and basically almost envelop us. The trailer parks, the industrial parks, the Briggs and Stratton property. My question to you is, where does it all stop? Where does it stop? Do you want to really industrialize Lee County? Do you really want to industrialize the city of Auburn? This is not, I've lived in Auburn for a long time. This is not the town I moved to, and I'm distressed. And I think if you lived out there, you would be distressed. So what I ask you to do is look upon these 16 property owners, and there's more people involved on other sides of it, and think how you would feel if you were affected. So I'm looking at each one of you, and I hope you reconsider the whole thing. Tom had a different proposal, and I appreciate and respect his proposal. I wish this could be undone, but I'm afraid this is probably going on too far already. So I'd like you to reconsider the whole zoning aspect. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else who'd like to speak in the public hearing on this item? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing. Is the applicant here? Commissioners, questions, thoughts?
Oh,
Go ahead.
with staff, do you have, we have a a proposed land use classification map usually.
Yep.
Don't we have one for this area?
Yeah, we do.
Right.
Yep. So I guess kind of this kind of an area that was something that was always kind of internally talked about as being industrial. But I think on the future land use map was always kind of in the wind on like if it was going to be rural, if it was going to be industrial. So I think the intentions were always going to be industrial for this
The
area.
future
And
land
then,
use was-
yep.
The future land use plan.
Yeah, and then I guess also the other part of this that I want to reiterate, things outside the county can be whatever they want to be.
Correct.
And so things that come inside the city does have a lot more purview on it, and I think also the industrial that happens inside the city is unlike the industrial that happens outside of the city, and that being in other cities as well. I mean, the IDB has done a good job of kind of targeting light industrial uses and not some of the other heavy intensity uses that could just happen right next to you in the county. So I do want to stress that. And so
Yes,
everything
sir.
in the industrial park that is in the industrial district is a conditional use. And so a lot of the concerns that y'all raised will be addressed, like I said earlier in the meeting, at the time of construction of a building when a specific project comes in, like buffer yards and things like that. So that is something that can be addressed then. Like I said, I mean, a lot of those things are just not germane or possible in the rezoning process currently.
Correct. So this property evidently started off in the county, and they chose to bring it into the city at some time. So it could have gone forward no matter what in the county, but they've chosen to bring it to the city, so there's a lot more parameters placed on what can be developed there. I do have one question, probably for Miss Frazier, is what is a normal setback on a development like this? I know we've had them as much as 100 or more. Normal.
What
Sorry.
is normal? Typically, what we've been doing in our industrial zones is anywhere from 50 to 100 feet of setback, and that's usually dependent on where the buildings are located. I think the plans that we have seen for this only are developing the front, I don't want to say the front half, but there's still a good bit of property left to be developed. One of the things we're going to ask the developer for is a master plan so that we know what the impacts are on the west property line, but we just don't have that right now.
Okay. Okay.
So this will come back before us? If this is rezoned as industrial, and it will come back before us as conditional use?
Correct.
So we can go over everything then, buffers, everything?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. And so, and so that was one of the things I outlined in my email to one of the concerned property owners was that right now, like isn't the time to address those, and that there's more control once it comes into the city, and then once there is a specific project that is going forward for construction, that'll be the time to address those things.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah, I'd like just to make a procedural comment, for the people that are here. There's gonna be 3 different things that happen to this piece of property. It gets annexed into the city, which we just did. We rezone it to figure out, to make it compatible with the use that's supposed to be there. Both of these are recommendations to the city council. And so there's another time that you can express some of your views at the city council. And then once, if they vote for both of these and they go along with our recommendations, then we're gonna have this use hearing. And that's when we can address, as they've mentioned, all the other things that are gonna go on in that piece of property. So there's other opportunities to make inputs to this.
Public hearing is closed, I'm sorry. You can call staff, though, during the week if you have additional questions. Okay, commissioners?
I'd like to move to approve RZ 2024-001.
Second. One. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. The city council date is March the 19th.
All right. Thank you. So I'll be presenting the next one.
Okay.
So this is a rezoning request for Arbor Woods, and so this is a little different than some of the other rezoning requests that we do. So this is asking to be rezoned from rural to a conservation overlay district. If you don't want to go to the next slide. So about 59 acres. There has to be about half of it dedicated and preserved in perpetuity for this to count. as a conservation overlay district, and the rezoning has to be approved for the subsequent preliminary plat to be approved as well. So it has to be a part of the motion with the preliminary plat. But yeah, so with that, I'll turn it back over to y'all for any questions, just kind of regarding the Arbor Woods rezoning request for the
Just a
rural.
quick one.
Yep.
So it's a rezoning, but they're not technically rezoning, they're just putting an overlay on it?
No. So it's currently rural,
Yes,
and so they have to rezone it to a conservation overlay district.
okay.
Right, and so then for the subsequent preliminary plat, which is next, for that to be approved, it has to be rezoned as a conservation overlay district.
Right, okay.
Right,
Spending.
yeah,
This one is contingent. Yes,
Yep.
got it.
So I just wanted to articulate that. Like I said, I mean, the preliminary plat cannot be approved unless the conservation overlay district is approved.
Got it.
Yeah, so we received a couple calls, just kind of about this one. And so we had this is the prox map that's oriented to the north, and we had like some concerns about the other one that the north was kind of askew. And so you'll be able to see it on the preliminary plat where it shows what's conserved and the outline of the property.
Got it. Okay. Applicant here, want to say anything? Okay.
How are y'all?
Good.
I'm Hayes Eifert. I'm a Sanford group. Yeah, so essentially, this doesn't increase the density of the property. It allows us to put 50% of the property in a conservation easement in perpetuity, and that'll protect Chewacla Creek, which is running along the north of this property. So it's going to be a massive buffer between any development in the creek. We're not trying to do any mass grading here. We're going for a very nice end product with wooded lots from an acre to 2 acres, as we'll see, I'm sure, on the next. But yeah, so no increase in density, just going to put that easement in perpetuity, and it'll be the same 19 lots that would be allowed under rural zoning. So I'm happy to answer any other questions if you'll have any.
Thank you. This does require a public hearing, so I will open that at this time if you would like to come forward to speak on this item. Seeing no one, I will close the public hearing. Commissioners?
Move to approve RZ 2024-002.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next item.
Yep, so then this is the preliminary plat request associated for Arbor Woods. If you just want to go to the next slide. Next slide. There we go. Yeah, and so as you can see, the large lot to the north is what's going to be conserved in perpetuity. And then I know it looks like there's flag lots on this, but as we discussed, by rule and technicality, the driveways are wide enough that these are not flag lots. And so, like you said, I mean, the goal is for this to be a large lot subdivision. It's going to be a conservation subdivision. This does not affect the density. That was the reason for conserving it in perpetuity. So with that, I turn over to you for any questions. And staff recommendations for approval.
Okay. Thank you. And this does require a public hearing. So I would like to open that now, if anyone would like to come forward on the preliminary plat for Arbor Woods. Seeing no one, close the public hearing. Commissioners, comments, questions, motions?
Move to approve case PP 2024-001 Arbor Woods preliminary plat.
Second.
Wait,
This is
it's like, so this needs to be, the motion needs to have the condition of the rezoning. Like I said, I mean, the preliminary plat cannot be approved without the rezoning, so it needs to be conditioned.
Can't be approved till
Right.
council approves it.
Yep.
Subject to.
Yeah.
Okay, subject to, that's the wording. Move to approve preliminary plat, PP 2024-001 Arbor Woods, subject to city council approval of RZ 2024-001 Conservation Overlay District.
Second.
Thank you.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Sorry. Motion carries. Thank you. Next, Asbury Hills.
For this agenda item, The applicant is requesting revised preliminary plat approval for a 38-lot performance subdivision of townhomes. In addition, a waiver to subdivide lots on the private street is also requested. The property is located off Shelton Mill Road in the CDD district. The original preliminary plat came before the Planning Commission at the September 2023 meeting under PP-2023-016. I've done a side-by-side of what
thank you.
was previously approved on your left and what is newly proposed. The lots increase from 31 to 38. Units increase from 27 to 36. The density increases from 4.8 to 7.4. And open space decreases by 39% to 30%. The density and open space is still within the requirements for performance subdivisions in the district. There will be an additional 9 lots that will be subdivided off the private street if approved. Staff has no major comments and recommend approval.
Thank you, Connor. This does require a public hearing. Is the applicant in-house? Yes, you are. No, if you'd like to speak to us.
I don't particularly have anything to say on this one, but if y'all have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I'll open the public hearing if anybody would like to speak on this item. Seeing no one, close public hearing. Commissioners?
Move to approve case PP 2024-002.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Welcome back.
For this item, the applicant is requesting a recommendation to City Council for conditional use approval of of 2 commercial support uses, one being a climate-controlled self-storage facility and the other being a warehouse. The property is located off of West Veterans Boulevard in the CDD district. There is an initial site plan showing the configuration of the lot. The self-storage facility would be on the rear, there we go, the rear building, and then the, I believe, office and warehouse would be right off of West Veterans right there at the front. It's in line with the future land use map of master plan mixed use. There were several other conditional uses in the CDD district right here in the past couple of years. That was also commercial support use, and due to that, staff recommends approval.
Talk to me about the waiver request.
Yeah.
That is a, yes, I know that the staff report and packet had them on one item, but the waiver request I put separately, so I didn't mean to confuse all.
I would propose that we separate them as well from a
Okay,
voting
so we do
standpoint.
separate motions. But while I'm up here,
Agenda? They're on one in our packet.
sorry about that, Robin. So while I'm up here, the waiver request is a waiver to the special development standards for self-storage facilities and then the corridor overlay regulations to allow metal building material along Corridor Street. In the zoning ordinance, it's just saying that the building material should be of natural materials such as wood or stone, brick, stucco, things of that nature. This is from corridor overlay regulations. And what the applicant has initially proposed an example of is this building right here of the metal. They indicate to me that the metal will go down to the, I guess, ground elevation. This is similar to the conditional use approved for the Auburn distribution facility in CU 2022-008, where a waiver was also granted for building materials.
Where was that located?
Yeah, what was that?
That was located exactly or directly to the east. I think right in this area right here.
What business is that?
That's the cybersecurity place?
No,
No.
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
The what? The what?
Coca-Cola
Coca-Cola
distribution.
facility. So I believe it is the abutting property, adjacent property right there. And similar to this request, it is going to be well off the property line. And staff recommends approval of the waiver for the building to the rear, but not to the front.
Okay. I'm sorry, one question. Staff recommends approval for conditional use, though.
That's correct.
Okay. Applicant, would you care to?
On the conditional use, it's recommended for approval, so happy to answer any questions on that. In regards to the waiver, here's a map. The property outlined in red is the beginning of the industrial park. This blue site you can see is immediately adjacent to the industrial park, and on the other side of our site is the new Coca-Cola distribution facility. The Lot Chemicals next door to us, this is a picture of their building. They have metal siding inside the industrial park, which is on one side of us. The other side of us is the Coca-Cola distribution facility where a waiver was approved for metal siding. So we have metal siding on both sides of us, right? So all we're doing is asking for it to match and be similar to what's on both sides of us. I don't see what's gained. I think that if we got an industrial look here, we just keep the industrial look going. Not sure why we need to go and jazz up in between. So that's the reason why. We're just trying to be consistent with what's going on there. We're going to make it look attractive. The owner is local, so it's local investment, and they're going to want it to be attractive for what they're wanting to do anyways. So be happy to answer any questions, but I figured that map kind of gives you a little bit better look of what's going on.
Right, but what about just the facade? I'm sorry, the facade itself, would it just be metal as well?
Yeah.
Facing veterans?
Yes. On the storage, yes. On the warehouse building, the
Really
other
just worried
commercial,
about-
on the front, we don't have a particular user, like, right at this moment, you know what I mean? The storage is definitely the first part of this, and that's going. So if we need to come back for that when we know exactly what's going on with that one, but on the metal building, no, on the storage building, yeah, it'll just be metal.
Right, but we were really just concerned with the front building, right? The
Yeah, I
facade
think that's the
facing-
one that staff's concerned with.
Right.
And we don't, like I said, I don't have a user on that one particularly yet. So if you want to grant the one for the storage, which is the phase one of this project, this is what's left over, and we'll deal with that at a later time. I mean, that's fine. That keeps us moving.
I could do that.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, and so I guess there's also the options of approving this with the condition that I guess like it meets staff standards. I think just kind of regarding like what the facade was going to be, because I think that was always going to be the concern, what was facing veterans, and then just kind of coming into compliance. I think from a standards level, and I think what's shown here, I think would be nice, but what like he mentioned, if it's going to be an entirely metal building, like a metal corrugated metal building, and so that was one of the concerns, and so I guess if y'all would like to approve it with conditions that it meets, or if y'all would like to deny the waiver as is, I mean, it's up to y'all. I was just providing options.
Well, one of the things we noticed is that the waiver is only for the climate controlled in the back. So it doesn't specify the front building in our packet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way it reads.
So essentially, right now, it'd be just for that anyway. if approved.
But you want us to put maybe a condition on it that the exterior meets staff
So there's
approval?
That it has to come back.
the waiver is for technically both uses, but there's
Doesn't say that. Say
a waiver for the standard development, special development standards for climate controlled storage. That's, I guess, one aspect of it. And then corridor overlay regulations also says that there needs to be specific building materials when visible from public right of way on a corridor street. So that would encompass both uses.
And how would you like to go? Excuse me, this requires a public hearing. I apologize. I'd like to go ahead and open the public hearing, and if anyone would like to speak on this agenda item, please come forward. Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing. Okay, commissioners, I guess my question is, how would you like for us to move forward with this?
All right. Yeah, thank you. So if y'all would vote on the conditional use
Okay.
and then vote on the waiver, and then I guess if it's going to be a split on the granting the waiver for the building in the back, vote for that, and then vote on the waiver in the front, because like the staff recommendation is split on those.
Okay, great. So we will vote on conditional use approval at first.
I also move to recommend to city council for the approval of the conditional use of a climate control self-storage facility and warehouse.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, great. Conditional use, done. Waiver number 1 is to allow a metal building material visible along a corridor street for a climate-controlled storage use.
Yeah, and so that's the building in the back.
That's the building in the back.
Correct.
I motion to approve the waiver as described by the chairman.
Second.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Discussion or, I mean, a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, waiver number 3.
Two.
I'm sorry, this is option number
Item
3,
number
item
three.
number 3 within this. But waiver for special development standards for the warehouse facing West Veterans to allow metal building materials visible along a corridor street.
I move to deny the waiver.
A second.
I have a motion and a second to deny the waiver from
I have a point of
required materials.
I have a point of clarification, I guess, or
Yes.
a question. Does that prohibit them from returning to ask for that later? Within the year, or however it is we do that?
I don't think so. I think waivers are permanent, right? Like if we deny the waiver, can they come back for the waiver? I guess so. They
Have to
can't
have a
come
year.
back.
Okay,
Yeah.
like subdivision.
Yep. Yep. So they can come back.
Well,
But they can't come back within the year?
I guess we can look into it. And I guess I can report back. I think or as early as tomorrow. I think is how long like that and now would stand. But I think they probably just be able to come back.
I do have a motion and a second on the floor.
Yeah, and so I guess kind of like there is the alternative, or like I said, I mean, y'all can approve it with conditions that the building materials must meet. Like if like the alternatives that they supply must meet staff conditions if they want the waiver. So you can grant the waiver with those conditions, and I think that was what happened with Coke. Like they got the waiver as well, but they met staff standards for what would be acceptable. And I think that was in question with this one. I mean, and like the applicant said, I mean, they don't have a user yet, and so the building design hadn't really been done. But what they're thinking is that there would be a corrugated metal building in its entirety, and that's not what staff wants.
okay, then can you want to amend your motion or withdraw it? Or you still want to stick?
Well,
We
I
have a
would
motion
like-
and a second, so I have to move forward
Well,
with something.
I would amend the motion.
Can you amend the motion?
I would amend the motion to say, deny the waiver to special development standards. It's the warehouse. And to meet staff
Yeah.
to meet staff requirements in the.
Yeah. So,
Subject, yeah.
We would approve it though with the condition that it has to be.
yeah. So, right. So it would be approved, and I guess the conditions would be that they have to present alternatives that are acceptable to staff for the corridor overlay district, and that's similar in what happened with Coca-Cola.
So you need to reword it, Phil, if you want to do that.
About if I do this to start from scratch, I'm gonna withdraw.
I have a motion and a second on the table that must be moved forward on, either denied or approved.
Can he withdraw?
You can
his
amend
motion?
it or we can
Phil can
withdraw
amend
it.
his
That's why he's withdrawing
I'm gonna
it. He's allowed to
withdraw my
withdraw.
motion.
Perfect. Noted. Withdrawal of motion to deny.
Let's start over.
Parliamentarian, please.
I will move to approve waiver number 2 to the corridor overlay regulations, subject to the condition that all materials meet with staff approval before moving forward.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any need for clarification?
Well said.
Okay, great. All those in favor of motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all. Put us to the test.
Keep us on our toes.
Miss Katie?
Sorry, I have to lower this just a bit. Good evening. This is a request that you guys are probably familiar with. This is a conditional use request for an institutional use, community housing services, and offices on property located on North Donahue Drive, zoned RDD. The request is for community housing services. Did I say that? I can't remember. Sorry. The request has not changed much, still 106 units on approximately 21 acres. And with the daycare use that's currently there, as well as offices. I did not receive any correspondence on the proposal. And the reason for this request now, because y'all heard it most recently in May of last year. So this use would expire in September. However, the tax credit application process is pretty lengthy, and they just want to cover their bases and make sure that the one that was approved last May does not expire in that timeframe. So, we do recommend approval, and the applicant and their representative are here this evening.
Would the applicant like to say anything or have any comments? Oh,
We'd be happy to answer any questions. You know, like she said, it's the same thing, it's just time frames, and we ran into a few hurdles, we've overcome those hurdles, and we're just getting this back approved, because it can't expire during the approval process, and we would be right in the middle of it, so.
right.
That's why.
Brett, I'm sorry. Are we taking down what's there currently?
Yes.
Completely taking it down? And those people will go where? And I'm sorry if we've already talked about this, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
They'll let them stand in the street.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you for your time, your consideration. Yes, all of our residents that are at the units will be relocated. And we are currently working on a relocation plan with our developer. Our intent is to create vacancies on our current properties, but we don't want to do that too early until we're funded. So our intent is to relocate families at other properties that we have. We have a total of 304. So for those that remain, we hope to work within the private sector to come out with a MOU or some sort, or we can give our families a voucher if they so choose to garner other housing. But that's our priority, is to relocate our families with decency. And we are starting the notice process tomorrow. We're having to start the process early due to various funding sources that we're looking at using. Initially with the development that you have seen before, the intent was to redevelop on 2 parcels, Parcel B and Parcel C, which would have been 62 units. But due to the increase of construction costs, interest rates, we had to find ways to shrink the funding gap. So what we opted to do was to focus on parcel B, 56 units. That will give us the opportunity to qualify for $2.6 additional in federal funding. And then so that took away from 62 units to 56. So we hope to be able to relocate within our own properties. If not, we'll go from there. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you for your consideration.
This does require a public hearing. If anyone would like to come forward and speak about this item. Seeing no one, close the public hearing. Commissioners,
I'll move to approve CU 2024-005.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Now we will move to other business.
Thank you. All right. Yeah. So this is a request for a rehearing for a Cafe Racer at the corner of Gay and Opelika, and so this is on 204 and 220 Opelika Road. And so it's in these. There isn't a recommendation from staff. There's really just more of a recounting of what was submitted, and then kind of an objective observation of what was resubmitted for the request for the rehearing. So before I get into, I think just kind of outlining what was initially submitted and what is currently submitted, I want to just kind of outline the discussion and the decision for the Planning Commission tonight. So you're deciding on if there's a significant difference in what was initially submitted and what's currently submitted. And significant difference does not look at the use. The significant difference looks at, did they address the concerns from staff in a meaningful way that warrants a rehearing? And so I'm going to outline what those concerns from staff were, and then we're going to present you with the first submission and the second one. So yeah, so if you can go to the first one. Yep, thank you, right there. All right, so this is their first submission. There were several concerns with this site. The main one was that this is a drive-through use, and it forced it to be conditional use. Staff was not supportive of a drive-through use here and was very upfront about that throughout the entire process and recommended denial. Based on that, there are also other concerns about the traffic flow of the site internally and also the ingress and egress coming into the site. And so if you look at this map, there is no way to get from the Opelika Road entrance into the drive-through. Also, it's showing an entrance on the Gay Road exit, Gay Street, and then so if you're going south on Gay Street and you'd make a left into the site, there was concerns about stacking of the left turn going through the intersection, and so just for those reasons, the ingress and egress, the internal flow, and then the use of the drive-through, staff was not supportive and recommended denial. So then go to the next one. All right, so on this one, they moved the entire site more to the east to accommodate for more stacking on site, and then they moved the entrance on Opelika Road, and they also they're also showing a full ingress egress on the Gay Street. And so I think the applicant's here to speak. But other than that, there's no recommendation from staff, and staff will not provide any opinions about the submission.
Thank you. Applicant, would you care to start?
Good evening, Commission. My name is Brad Galland. I'm here representing Cafe Racer. As the planning director outlined, generally speaking, I think you know the plan, you know what we had proposed. I do want to clarify a couple of things, and I included this in our formal request for rehearing. We do intend to limit movement on Gay Street to right in, right out. I heard you loud and clear the last time we were here. The pork chop was not added to the site drawing, but that is our intent, to limit the Gay Street access to right in, right out. Our intent is limiting Opelika Road to right in, right out. We would like to work through a traffic impact study to determine whether or not a left-in movement is feasible, and we'll abide by that. But again, largely we're here tonight because, again, I heard you loud and clear the last time we were here. Very concerned about stacking out onto the surface streets.
as I mentioned the last time, the use is paramount to our business. A drive-through is something that is required to make the economics of this deal work for us, and that's, again, that's the reality of our business. We did try to mitigate the traffic concerns to the extent that we could by shifting from the 204 parcel all the way over to the 220 parcel, which again was a Guthrie's drive-through at one point. We believe that any stacking that may have occurred on Gay or Opelika will now occur on our property. So again, really trying to be very mindful and cognizant of that. So yeah, that's a little bit of the pitch there, but again, I do want to just point out the fact that we were here in November. We had planned to go to city council. Again, heard the recommendation, it was a 7-0 denial. We worked with planning department and said, look, we need to clearly go back to the drawing board on this. We don't want to move forward to city council. Really at no point during that process were we made aware that a denial was going to require a request for rehearing. That was something that was brought to my attention literally 3 days before our submittal for the February hearing. So to say I was caught off guard.
Sorry.
It's all right. Just make sure I'm not in trouble here. Again, we spent a lot of time and energy under the impression that we were not going to have an issue resubmitting for the February hearings. Sounds like a replay.
Sounds like a replay of our meeting.
Yeah.
It's got the control device.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Just hope you guys don't have to hear me twice.
Is anyone gonna get up and see if we can do anything about this, or we're just gonna sit here? I have a question. I'll talk over it. I'm not afraid. So I believe, if memory serves, you all did not want to reconfigure, at least on the other side of this lot, because of topographical or site issues. I don't know what the proper terminology is. So you've decided you can move forward with this drawing on the other side, and do you intend for that other parcel to stay green space?
Our intent is that will remain green space for some period of time, but again, in order to make the economics of this deal work, these are two independently parceled properties. So we would intend to sell this to some other use at some point down the road.
Okay.
We know that, again, given the environmental condition of this property, it's going to have to be a commercial use of some sort, and there are going to be limitations on that because of ADEM's requirements and the NFA that is on that property. So the short answer is we intend to sell it at some point. It's not an immediate concern for us. Our business, we like the green space, as I hope you can see on the drawing. Our location in Athens is, we have lawn chairs, we have folks sitting out there. We welcome that. So
Do you have it in Athens in the central business district?
yes, sir.
You do?
Yes.
Aren't we only voting on rehearing?
Whether we rehearing or not, I just want to correct the record.
Thank you.
Thank you. Whoever, can we go back to the other drawing just real quick? Okay, thank you. You can go back now. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner, so request for rehearing.
Without any, excuse me, I'm just gonna say, without any commitment one way or the other, it's just a rehearing. Okay.
I'm glad that this was done. I'm glad that you all listened, went back and tried to redo this. I never voted no because of the drive-through. You're surrounded by drive-throughs. There's a drive-through right behind you. There's another drive-through right behind that. There's a drive-through across the street. I think it's unrealistic for us to expect that students are going to walk. I watched them park at Max Credit Union and walk down the block to Lulu. Lemon and Barbaritos, they're not going to do it. They want to drive. So I'm all for a rehearing. I appreciate the effort that you all put into trying to respond to our problems, issues, concerns.
I second that.
I have a motion and a second on the rehearing. All those in favor?
Wait, there's still, let's have some comment. I have a
Discussion?
little more discussion.
Motion.
So we've got a motion and a Second, okay.
Motion to rehear. Mhm.
I guess the ground rules when we started off here was, did they, have enough change in, what the staff asked them to do, come back with something that was sufficiently different, is the way I am interpreting it. And he talked about there's three different areas. One is the drive-through itself, ingress and egress, and then internal flow. While I believe there's some improvement on two of the three, there's still a drive-through. And this is a drive-through in an urban zone area, putting a road service in an urban zone area. While I do acknowledge and recognize that there are other drive-throughs around here, I think that's something that needs to be redeveloped out of the area and try to make this more walkable because it's an urban zone area. So I will not vote for this rehearing.
I have a motion and a second on the floor for approving the rehearing.
Question, call for question.
Call for,
Oh, you're calling for the question? Okay. All those in favor?
I actually would like to do a roll call vote, please.
Robin Bridges,
Yes.
Dana Camp,
Yes.
Phil Chancellor,
No.
David Wisdom,
Yes.
Warren McCord,
Yes.
Nonette Reese,
Yes.
Bob Breitenbaugh,
Yes.
Wendy Birmingham,
Yes.
Joseph Astrup.
Yes.
Thank you all. We did have one last agenda item added to tonight's.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly. So let me write it down on that. All right, yeah, and so this is for the extension of a preliminary plat, Preserve Phase 6. So as you know, there's an 18-month expiration period on preliminary plats, and so this preliminary plat actually expires 2 days before our March Planning Commission meeting. And so they're thoughtful enough to call and ask for an extension prior to the expiration of the preliminary plat. That way y'all don't get a preliminary plat and final plat of the same property on the same agenda. And they're asking for a 12-month extension. So I guess if you just want to click through and look at it. But this is something that y'all have already approved, and then I guess so. I turn it over to y'all for any questions. But staff recommends approval for the extension.
The extension does not have a public hearing, correct?
Nope.
Thank you. Commissioners?
I move for approval of the extension of the preliminary plat for 12-month period.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Do we have any communication, staff communication?
No, I don't think so. I think, like I said, I think we'll probably just for the good of the body, I'll make sure I get an answer on how long denials on waivers have to be tabled. But other than that, no, I don't think we have anything.
Okay. And I also do not have anything other than thank you for bearing with me this evening.
You did a beautiful job.
Great job.
We are adjourned.
There you go. You started with a bang.